So the word limited is getting thrown around more and more and more. Specifically, limited edition. So this is Coast to Coast Pinball, limited edition number 41, I suppose. It's $9,000. Let's go. Welcome to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is episode 41. It's Friday night, November 8th, 2013. I hope you're all doing well. Had a few days off from the podcast. Wanted to let those last few shows sort of sit with the public, get downloaded, and they did. It was great. I really appreciate all the support and the kind words. Ton of great email came in. I'm going to get to it, I promise. If I haven't replied to you, I will. It was a busy week of work. I've got a big trip coming up, and I got a lot of email all at once. The interview shows sparked a lot of interest. Thoughts on super bands and Saturn rings sparked a lot of emails. My disregard for the greatness of Shrek in one man's eyes sparked an email. But yeah, so how's everyone doing? First off, let's talk about what's being discussed on the good old Pinside forum.
Forum static.
Alright, so jump on the Pinside when you have a couple hours to read through a thread that has just been started, because I think by tomorrow it'll be twice the size. This thread caught me off guard today when I first saw it while I was at work. It's entitled Wizard of Oz 75th Anniversary LE, the real LE, ? And if anybody's been really closely following Jersey Jack and the Wizard of Oz, or listened to the fireside chat given at Expo, there was discussion and talk of the 75th Anniversary Ruby Red edition of the Wizard of Oz. So you have the Emerald City Wizard of Oz limited edition, which everyone jumped into early. It started out, I think the original price to get on that guy was $6,500 way back when. This is what started Jersey Jack Pinball. Everyone sent him a bunch of money to buy this limited edition Emerald City. And then there's the standard edition that's being shipped and sold now. By the way, lots of people are still waiting on their machines in both these. And the company built, I believe, one or two of these Ruby Red editions for the 75th anniversary. And I don't know if one was at Expo or if one was talked about at Expo, but somebody asked Jack in the interview that night, in the fireside chat they did, like their seminar was sort of a chat about all things Jersey Jack and pinball, if there are any plans to make any more of these Emerald City games. And he was sort of non-committal that night. He didn't really tip his hat too far. But he's doing it now. Today, there's been an announcement that Jersey Jack Pinball is going to release 1,500 Ruby Red 75th Anniversary editions. And this is catching some people really off guard because, so you got to understand, the first edition, the limited green one with the topper and the Invisiglass and the shaker motor and the plaque and everything, isn't even done shipping out yet. So now Jersey Jack is announcing this new game with red rails, more toys on the playfield, and a new topper at a new higher price point is coming out. I think it has 4 new toys / playfield editions, red treatments, the shaker motor, and the new topper. So there's some people who are pretty upset about this. And I guess the question comes down to, should you be upset? Should you be mad? Because what's happening here is Jack and the company feels they can sell 1,500 more games for $9,000 based on sprucing it up with some, red red trim and whatnot. I guess the 2 prototype 70th anniversary games were out in California in the fall at some point, and people had asked for them. So they're doing it. And I guess my question to the pinball world and what I want to kind of talk about is this a good move? I mean, okay, so my opinion on the business side of this, and I'm still trying to form an opinion, so sorry if I'm a little slow on this right now. I think it's a great thing to hear that this new pinball company in our industry has risen up and thinks they can sell 1,500 additional games of their first game at this crazy price point, $9,000. This becomes, except for some one-off things and some, really boutique things, this will become the most expensive new in-box pinball game of all time at $9,000. And they're not going to build only 1,000 of them. It's going to be 1,500 of them. So here's my thoughts on that. If they were to only build 1,000 or only 500, they're going to really highly, in theory, I think this is probably what you thought they were thinking as they made the decision, really, in theory, upset greatly those who have bought into the Emerald City version, because that was supposed to be the limited edition. The give me your money early to help me get this thing off the ground, and you're going to get a limited edition version of the game. There's only 1,000 of them. You get a plaque. You get, autographs on the playfield, the whole thing. It was a package. So if he'd come out and said, I think I can sell 250 of these 75th anniversary Ruby Red editions, that would really upset those that were in on the limited Emerald City version. Same if they did 1,000. I think the thought process was probably, well, if we do 1,500, then it's not that limited. So it's not going to be, a more collectible piece than the Emerald City one, which is the first one. So people won't be mad, right? Well, wrong. People are mad. Also, if it had been the same price, if it was at $8,000, like I think what you ended up late in the game paying for a limited edition, you're also going to really upset people. Not to mention some people haven't even gotten their game yet, or just got their game. So he does say that anybody who is still waiting on their Emerald City game can switch and go to the front of the line for the 75th edition. I think he also said that the extra toys and the toppers that are going to be on the 70th anniversary game will be available for purchase by anyone in 2014. So I guess potentially someone who bought just the standard model could buy these toys and stuff too. He says there was no plan to make this game until a couple of weeks ago. The timing of this announcement is important as we were required to reveal the 75th anniversary product by a deadline for marketing purposes. So there's definitely some business side things happening here with Warner Brothers probably to get on the bandwagon for the 75th anniversary of the movie. I get that, and maybe there was some pressure on them to do it, but I don't think that this is anything other than Jack thinking he can now sell some more games. Now, I'm not going to vilify the man for that. I'm certainly happy that he's successful. I asked the question after Expo when Medieval Madness Remake was announced, how does this make Jersey Jack feel? That he's one of the distributors for this remade 17-year-old game that just got a flooding of orders for. And he's sitting here trying to sell his state-of-the-art, beautiful new Wizard of Oz machine. How did that make Jack feel? Well, I think we probably know a little bit now. I think he probably went home after he took all these Medieval Madness orders, and, Wizard of Oz was no longer the talk of Expo like it was last year and like it has been the past few years worth of shows and events. Wizard of Oz is out now. We've seen it. We've played it. The reviews are in. And I think it's generally regarded as a wonderfully built game that's beautiful with a theme that is family friendly and wide reaching, but maybe not striking the hearts of the hardcore pinball fan as direct as I think something like, The Hobbit will probably get closer, or something like Star Trek or Metallica seems to. So I think he probably went home, and he probably had some people saying, I will give you $10,000 for a Ruby Red version. Can you build me one? And he probably got a few people. And this is all, I'm just total conjecture. I have no inside knowledge here. I'm just guessing. And I bet some people wanted to order that. And then he's faced with the idea of, well, if I were to build a few of them and they start getting out that I built more than 2, then people might be really upset that I built these limited runs, and so a lot of these Emerald City buyers would have gladly paid a little bit more for this ultra rare one, and it's red, and yada yada, and plus, wow, I just sold, 100 or whatever the number is of however many Medieval Madness remakes that Jack got to sell for $8,000. I've underpriced my game. I bet he feels like he's underpriced all his Wizard of Oz to date now. Now, granted, who would have known that before he'd ever built a game? If he'd come out and said, I'm going to build Wizard of Oz, you don't know anything about it, it's $9,000, he wouldn't have had, I think, the pre-order rush that he did at $6,500 originally. Because remember, that's what the original price was, $6,500. It sounds like a bargain now, right? So, $9,000. That's upset some people just by the price tag alone. Is any pinball machine worth $9,000 right out of the box? If people will pay it, then it is. Simple as that. I think economics bear that out. Is the Wizard of Oz worth $9,000? If any game is, I think the Wizard of Oz might be, based on build quality and pushing the flag out further, setting the mark higher. Maybe it is the Wizard of Oz. This is going to be sort of a developing thing over the next few weeks, and we'll talk about it again on a future episode. But it was interesting reading the people in this thread. There's 2 sides. There's people who bought the game and are very upset. There's people who've bought the game and say, I can't blame him. I'm a little perturbed and I'm annoyed. So I guess there's 3 sides, because then there's the people who are just saying, hey man, you should just be happy that there's more than one company making games and that there's a demand for them. And I think I see all sides, and I fall somewhere in the middle of all of them. If I was a owner of a Emerald City, I might be a little bit annoyed that my game is not quite as rare and collectible today as it was yesterday. At the same time, I just don't get into buying these games for that side of it. I'm not a collector. I'm a player who owns a few games and will continue to own a few games and buy games. I won't degrade those collector guys. I mean, I don't like the flippers so much, the guys that are literally just buying and flipping it. The guy with the new in-box back in black, it's like, that thread kind of makes me annoyed on Pinside forums, trying to sell for $14,500. It's like, come on. That stuff kind of bothers me. You're free to do what you want to do. I'm not into that scene. But, there are definitely those guys who are just buying all the new games as they come out, playing them and then dumping them and getting the next ones. More of just a turn and burn type of thing. That's the collector market. Collectors are always sort of on the cutting edge like that. I deal with it in guitars. I get guys who buy all of our limiteds. We do limiteds at Taylor Guitars. And I get guys who I know, they go run out and buy them. And if it really is what they love and want, at the end of the day, they might keep some, but they flip a lot of them. That helps this industry. The collector market does help. But should Jack be doing this? Should Jack be playing with the word limited edition? I think that if he didn't call it limited edition, he would be in a better spot. I think if he just said, we're going to start building concurrently a 75th anniversary edition, but it's going to be expensive because it costs us more to make it, he would have been in better shape. But man, those words, limited edition, can cause you some trouble there. So, love to know your thoughts on that one. Another little piece of news that I think's pretty interesting is the Pinball Arcade software, which is, probably in my opinion the best way to play virtual digital pinball, is now available to play on your PC through the Steam website. And if you go to steampowered.com, you can find the Pinball Arcade now downloadable as a program on Steam. And Steam is like a digital rights management software that basically lets you download games, play games through their system. And it's pretty slick, and it's become a really big thing. And I think they have like 3,000 games on Steam, and now the Pinball Arcade is there. So if you go there, download the program, install Steam, and then download Pinball Arcade, they are going to give you the Tales of the Arabian Nights package for free to start out. and then you can buy all the other games. And I mean, the list of games that they've got on the Pinball Arcade is just amazing. We've talked about that. Farsight Studios is the developer. I mean, painstaking recreations of games like Funhouse, Medieval Madness, Elvira and the Party Monsters, Theater of Magic, Star Trek: The Next Generation. I mean, just really, really cool. Great. I think it's the best way to play digital pinball. Obviously, I like it on the iPad a lot. It's a great app for iPads. But I think it's also, probably going to get a lot of play on the Steam platform through PC. So check that out if you're into that sort of thing. So that's kind of neat that came available. I just got the email tonight from the folks over at Farsight. That's happening.
Getting in bed with Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Nate.
Guess what time it is?
Bedtime?
Well, you are laying in bed.
Literally under the covers.
Under the covers.
Yep.
So you realize that I get requests for, segments.
Uh-huh.
And the most requested segment I have gotten in the history of Coast to Coast Pinball is...
Not this at all. It's probably something like the year was whatever, or where you call people, or where you do the going up, going down.
Why so negative?
No, I'm just saying, you're trying to set me up to sound stupid. Like, me, it's my segment. And you go, no.
I might have been doing that.
You were totally doing that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Always do.
Totally just kidding. No, this is the most requested segment I get. At least it's the most mentioned. I get more mentions about, so I was telling people that, we're going to go to pinball shows next year, and we're going to go to expos and things like that.
Right?
We're probably going to go to the one in Atlanta. That's happening. We're probably going to go to one in Texas. Okay. We're maybe going to one
Dallas.
in Wisconsin.
Will I go to that one?
Maybe. We'll see.
I've never been to Wisconsin.
But when I mentioned on the podcast that the show might be doing those shows, I instantly got 3 separate people making the same joke, and they all thought they were being clever, saying, hey, you guys could do a live Getting in Bed with Teresa segment at the show. And I'm like, yes.
That'd be funny, though. Have, a bed.
No, it would not be funny.
And I'd be in it.
No. No.
But I'll be there.
You'll be there.
I won't just be hair with a pinball machine in front of me. I feel like that's what my pictures look like.
So, I ordered shirts for this podcast,
you
right?
Did tell me that.
There are shirts coming.
Yeah. You got me one, right?
Yeah, of course.
Women?
For $16, I got you one.
Oh, is that fancy?
Are you yawning on my show? You're yawning on... is this not exciting? I'm sorry if this is boring to you. Does this podcast put you to sleep, Teresa?
You always come in at bedtime.
Hey, man. I give the people what they want.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yes. I know.
So shirts are coming.
I'm very excited.
And they're going to be $16-ish.
Okay.
I haven't figured it out. I just need them to pay for themselves.
No, I totally get that. Are they gray?
They're not gray.
What color are they?
I want to get them first before I announce what color they are, because they're sort of an ambiguous color that I can't totally tell.
He just shook his head at me, all mad that I said a color.
I wasn't mad. I was just I don't really know. Well, I know what the color it says they are. I'll believe it when I see it.
That's right, because it is different in pictures.
Yeah.
Did you just get one color?
Yes, I did. Just one color for now.
It's
the first run. These are the first editions.
I know.
And I didn't order a ton of them. They're going to be not collectible at all, but I'm going to tell people they're collectible, and then they will buy them faster.
Well,
But don't tell anybody I'm doing that.
Okay. Stop talking.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Do you have a topic for me, or do you have some sort of pinball news?
I have some news for you. So, in 3 episodes ago, where I talked about how the Medieval Madness thing was off.
Yes.
Remember? Did you hear that?
You didn't
hear that episode?
I did too. You talked yourself out of it. It's not responsible, blah, blah.
Okay. So.
I do remember.
One of the distributors who I had been in talks with, and I will let them remain nameless, may or may not have emailed me this week and said, hey, Nate.
You can pay with a credit card?
If I were to open the credit card thing up to you, would you be still interested? Because I still have your first edition.
I did listen to it.
Would you still be interested in it? Because I have a limited edition with your name on it that I can cancel now, or I can let you pay your... They still want a deposit for a check, check for deposit, which I totally understand. And you can pay this. And so, when I read the email, I thought, no, man, sorry, I've decided I'm going to do something else with my $8,000. And then I thought about it for a while. So all I'm going to say is there is a possibility that we will be getting Medieval Madness after all.
Really?
Really. How do you feel about that?
I think it's awesome. That game is so awesome.
Well, okay. Why do you like that game again?
Because I like... Are you going to make fun of me again?
Would I do that?
You always make fun of me. Because I like Castle of the Dragons and I like the funny call-outs. And I'm really good at the shot to the castle one. Don't you have to open it up and then you can get the ball inside? I'm good at that.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the little thing that opens up. What's the one shot over here?
Over here?
Is it a dragon?
There's a dragon over there.
Okay, I've never done that. Or I don't remember that.
It's like a ramp shot.
I only played it at the Pinball Hall.
And that was a long time ago. You haven't played that game in a long time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I think it would be awesome if we could get rid of Judge Dredd since you're, like...
lukewarm on Judge Dredd.
Very lukewarm. Although you said you like it better now that you put those new thingies in.
Oh, the Saturn rings.
Yeah.
That game got Saturn rings. How do you feel about Saturn rings? Oh, you haven't played it, have you?
I actually haven't.
This is Coast to Coast, not Pinball with Teresa.
Okay, I've been doing parent conferences and report cards for the last 3 weeks.
This isn't complain about my teacher job with Teresa. This is getting in bed with Teresa on Coast to Coast Pinball.
How did I give you something to say that with yet again? How? No, I want.
Because you're my opposite sex life partner, and that's what you do.
We've got to find a better name for that. Okay, no, I want to play both games with the new fancy high-tech rings that
the flipper rubbers, so to speak.
Well,
even though
when
they're
I say
not
rubbers,
rubber.
it sounds dirty.
What's that mean?
Oh God!
Like the rubbers are getting dirty, like they get dirt on them?
Oh, you're doing that thing again, where you make it sound like I'm the dirty person.
Hey man, you said
Because it sounds like condoms.
Teresa,
Rubbers, condoms.
This is a PG show. You've clearly stepped in the realm of not PG, and you need to stop.
It's not fair.
People are turning off their podcast players right now.
Don't turn off.
Their kids are in the van and they're listening to Coast to Coast Pinball, and you're dragging this show into the mud.
It's a legitimate contraceptive. I'm not saying anything dirty, but you make it seem like I'm being dirty. Mm-hmm. I'm a really nice person.
I'm kind of ashamed of you. You teach first grade.
Shut up. Oh my gosh. I did not say anything bad. I'm sorry if I did, though. I don't think that I did.
So, final verdict, though.
Yeah.
You want trolls?
I mean, if I don't want you to be like the whole buyer's remorse thing.
I don't want buyer's remorse. I'll flip it for $10K. Just kidding.
You just said that. No, I mean, it's your call, of course.
I actually don't think I'll be able to flip these things. I think this game's I think there'll be a deal on these after they come out. That's what I believe now.
Well, then why are you buying one?
Because I didn't say I was. I said I may be buying one.
Well, if you really, truly feel there's going to be a deal on them because there's going to be a flood in the market of them.
But there might
why
not be.
wouldn't you just wait and see?
I want a new in-box Medieval Madness.
I thought on the podcast you said I'm just going to do Metallica.
Man, I change my mind all the time. I'm the host. I reserve my right to change my mind.
I know you do. I mean, it's a big purchase, so of course you're going to go back.
Worst case scenario, I get it. And maybe there's something about it that I don't like. Maybe I just feel it's too much money.
What would there be about it? It's awesome.
It's a reproduction. We don't know. I mean, I saw the prototype photos and
does it look the same?
No. Well, I mean, yes and no. The play field is going to be almost identical, but the underside is drastically different.
It's a little tiny box. The little mini.
Well, that's up in the back class. There's just one board up in the back class. Well, that's where everything's attached to. That's pretty important.
What do you mean? Like the part you don't see when you take the glass off and lift it up?
Yeah, the build quality and all of that. We need to make sure this thing's stable. $8,000, a lot of money. I'm not an expert on that sort of stuff. It's going to be
different. It's like 30 years later.
It's like 17 years later, but nice
When did they make it?
96? 97?
Oh, yeah. Is that new?
Yes.
It seems like it was like 87.
It was not. It was not. Twilight Zone was 93.
Why do
You're crashing and burning here on the show.
I'm
crashing
sorry, I'm
off a cliff, off a cliff, off a cliff.
Oh, do all the pinball people think I'm lame now because I don't know when Medieval Madness came out? I'm sorry, Pinball World.
I'm sorry, Pinball World. Pinball few hundred people.
Well, you know.
Alright, we have to wrap the show up because see the little red line?
I know, it means time's up.
Time is up.
Well, I have to sleep.
Alright, good night, Teresa.
Good night, Nate. Good night, everybody.
Bye. So, the second most requested segment that we do here on Coast to Coast Pinball, second to the lovely Teresa and her Getting in Bed with Teresa segment, is absolutely the one that we're going to dive into right now. And it's all about the Wayback Machine, the time machine, going back and taking a look at what happened in certain years. And we call that segment And the Year Was.
And the year was...
And the year was 1989. 1989. We were sort of on the backslide. We're on the downhill of a popular time in pinball. Total game production was sort of heading down. We're before the DMD era. The boom hadn't happened again. It's an interesting time, and it's a fun year because there's a lot of bad games in that year to talk about. I kind of like the years where it's kind of weak. But looking into 89, so what do we have going on there? We have the Bally-Williams merger, quote, or purchase of Bally Midway by Williams had just happened, and we had seen the first game to be released by the singular company was actually in December of 88, and that was Truck Stop, which was originally Ramp Warrior, which I've never played, so I'm not going to talk a whole lot about. But so we get into 89, sort of, I imagine it was weird times at Williams, and you can actually read and talk, there's a lot of history going on there, and a lot of things were, I think there was a lot of politics and just weirdness and competition, and, you know, it would eventually turn itself into like a boom period for pinball. But in 1989, it was sort of the feeling out period. We still had Data East around, and we had Gottlieb Premier in the game too. So let's dive right in. No games were released in January, so we had a little bit of a break. There's nothing in January. But when we get to February, we get our first game of the year. And it's actually one of the highlights of 1989, and it's Pat Lawler's Earthshaker, released obviously by Williams. So, February 1989, Earthshaker. Currently, this game resides on the Pinside Top 100 at number 49. So, it's the top 50 game of all time, as voted on by the Pinside users. They built a good amount of these games for this time period. Anything over 5,000 units was pretty good in the late 80s, early 90s. And they built over 5,200 of these games. It's interesting when you look at Pat Lawler's designs, because there's some obviously some layout things that you start seeing happen again and again. And to me, Earthshaker was really where you started to see this run of games that have that Pat Lawler feel. It was sort of the beginning of the Pat Lawler vibe on some of these games. So Earthshaker, I think if you think about Earthshaker, okay, so it's the first pinball machine to ever use a shaker motor. Just makes sense. It's called Earthshaker. It's about earthquakes. The theme is earthquakes. So what I love about this era is we were getting all these very interesting original themes. And, you know, they had built a lot of pinball machines by this point with a lot of different original themes. So you're starting to get out there into the edges of what are we going to do? As you'll see in 1989, there's some weird themes. So Earthshaker, shaker motor, very cool. Originally, this game was supposed to have a building, and the building's actually in the game. It's called the Earthquake Institute, the Earthshake Institute, the little institute building with the number grid on it. And the first 200 units of Earthshaker that were built, at the right time in the game, the building actually lowered down into the playfield as if the earth was opening up, dividing and then swallowing this building. It's a cool effect. There was later a reproduction kit sold for Earthshaker where you could buy that if you didn't have one of those early 200 units, which most obviously didn't, where you could retrofit the game to have the motor to drop the building down. So that was available later on. It's very cool. This game has an actual back glass, not a translite, which is something I think interesting to look for when you look for Earthshakers out there in the world. The game was cool. You were trying to hit up the earthquake zones, visit the faults, and start the earthquake. Basically, in a nutshell, it had some neat tricks with the ball routes and the Nevada-California border splitting up, and the ball runs down that on the wireform, habit trail, which is pretty neat. This game's sort of famous for having a really tough jackpot because you had to light the jackpot, then hit the jackpot. And it has a back box piece. If you look at the back box, where the jackpot values are actually on the back box, sort of lit up there. So it's sort of a move to doing more stuff with the back box. Other little tidbits about Earthshaker is that one of the female voices in the game, there was a call out that said "ooh bitchin'." That was her little thing. And, they were going for like the hip California speak. And actually people were upset about that. So they had a family version where you could turn that explicit language off on Earthshaker. What I like about this game now is it still holds up really well. It still plays very well. Earthshaker's a fun game to play. The shaker motor integration is just really cool. And it's not super expensive. If you're looking to buy a Pat Lawler game, this is a game you can get under $2,000 in pretty good shape. They are out there. So I would encourage you to find an Earthshaker on location or find one to buy or play. It's a fun game. It's definitely one of the gems. Probably, I would have, looking at 1989 releases, it's my first or second favorite of the games that came out that year. Moving into April of 1989, so we only had one game in February, nothing in March, and there had been nothing in January. So in the first quarter of the year, there's only one game, which is pretty unusual for the 80s, 90s as well. In April of 1989, under the Bally trade name, they released Atlantis. So I've never played an Atlantis in person. I've seen a couple videos. It's a rare game. They only made 1,500 of these games. It doesn't rank high on the Pinside Top 100. It's ranked 196. So it's not even in the 100. It's in the top 200. Don't confuse Atlantis with the Gottlieb EM game from the mid-70s by the same name. Very different game. This game is interesting when you go back and look at the promotional flyers on Atlantis. It was promoted sort of to operators as Bally's first self-automatic, what did they call it? They called it a self-percentaging game. So basically the idea is this was the first game that would adjust its difficulty level based on what was happening by the players. And I think you put it on location, and after 100 plays, it would sort of dial in some of the rule set stuff to the degree of how good people were playing on it. Because their operators were really trying to keep people playing pinball at this time. And there was that mix of, getting people on the machine and off the machine to get more quarters coming in, but you had to make it playable and enjoyable so that people would keep putting quarters in it. So you had to give the right amount, but not too much because you didn't want people just for 25 cents playing for 30 minutes. That wasn't good for your earning potential either. So that was like the big pitch here. After every 10 games, the machine could automatically sort of adjust its difficulty. So the best thing I can say about this one is it's rare. If you see one, play it because there aren't that many out there. It has a cool like submarine toy on it to lock the balls, and then it releases them into the multi-balls. The Translite has underwater warrior women riding on dolphins. So it gets some kudos for me just for that alone. It's sort of ridiculous. It's kind of a good looking game in sort of a campy 80s, little too serious sci-fi underwater type thing. Not entirely bad. But if anybody owns an Atlantis, please let me know. I would like to just hear about it. Tell me what you think. Where'd you get it? I don't know a lot about that game. So it's an interesting one for sure. All right, speaking of games I've never played, also in April, by the Gottlieb Premier Company, we had a game come out called Big House. They built a little less than 2,000 of these. It doesn't even get rated on the Pinside top 100, 200, 300 because not enough people have ranked it. I've never seen one. I have never even really... I had to go find videos of some people playing this so I could even tell you anything about it. But basically, it's a jailbreak theme. It's a pinball machine about breaking out of jail and escaping the cops. It's kind of funny because on the playfield, you have this sort of serious, like, escape the cops artwork, but I think they got a little cold feet on the whole idea of promoting, pro-criminal activity. So on the back glass, all the criminals who have escaped are portrayed as animals. I think mostly dogs and then one, like, big rat, all in, striped prison type, uniforms. It does have a couple cool features. There's sort of this searchlight feature when you go to multi-ball. When you do start multi-ball in this game, the game darkens, and then there's these bright searchlight features that are like, trying to find the escaping prisoners. And that's you, the player. And that's kind of cool. It's a, playfield with 3 pop bumpers in the middle. I'm sitting there looking at the playfield. I don't love the artwork. It's sort of that Gottlieb artwork. 2 guys carrying guns right in the middle, and you're talking about escape. It's sort of weird, sort of awkward. Not a family-friendly theme here, really. Are you going to shoot the police? Is that what's going on here? I don't know. But they go ahead with the rats. There's like rats all over it. On the playfield, it's an interesting art package, to say the least. Another rare game that definitely would be on the D-list wonder side of the game. So, moving over into another game in April, and actually another game by Gottlieb, it's Hot Shots. So, Hot Shots. This is, to me, Gottlieb's version of like a cyclone or hurricane type thing. It's really it's a carnival theme. I believe it was sort of aimed maybe at younger players. There's a ton of drop targets. It's like a shooting gallery theme up the middle with drop targets. Horrible artwork package. I mean, some of the worst artwork I've ever seen on a pinball machine is on the game Hot Shots. There are girls in 1980s skirts and shorts leaned over a counter at a carnival. It's not good. It's not good. This is bad. The playfield has, a creepy clown on it, a single pop bumper up in the middle, tons of color and lights, and kind of ugly, and not a lot going on past all these drop targets. So they were stretching here. Late 80s, interesting time for pinball themes for sure. Moving past the wondrous Hot Shots game, we're still in April. A lot of games came out in April. Transporter the Rescue, which I think is just a weird name for a pinball machine in general. Transporter the Rescue. This was a WMS game. I think there's Bally labeled on this one. Very rare game. There were less than 1,000 of these. I think most numbers on this say 859 or 860 units built of Transporter the Rescue. It's this interesting sci-fi theme, and it tells a story. I like the story that they're telling here, that you're crash landing on a very distant planet, and you've got to get off your ship that's crashed and is burning apart and get to the transporter area where they can beam you up safely to the mothership. But wait, on the planet, there's a big scary iron monster who's going to try and, kill you, eat you, delay you, slow you down, make you late for your transporter, drain you down the middle. This game is actually ranked, for as few units of this was produced, it is ranked number 185 on the Pinside Top 100, 200, 300. However, when you read reviews about this game, people like this game. This is a game that people seem to really kind of enjoy if they've played it. I've never played it. I gotta say, it has some creepy playfield art with this big monster in the middle. He's scary looking. It's sort of a... I'll tell you what this game is to me. It's like an archaic version of the Avengers. Sort of. I mean, that might be a stretch to say, but it's a 3-flipper game. You've got your spaceship up in the back right, which is sort of hollowed out on top, but it takes up a big portion of the upper right playfield. You have this big clear ramp across the middle, and then this like circular, for lack of a better term, what would you call that? It's a shot kind of like Whitewater, to be honest. Where your transporter shot, which is your main shot in the game, which seems to be what people really critique about this game, is it's sort of a one-shot game. You go for the transporter shot over and over, but it's like a whirlpool shot, kind of like Whitewater, except way before Whitewater, which is interesting. But, if you're into sci-fi and you're into, weird themes and space and stuff, this is one you may not have thought of. The back glass is just really interesting. It's got the big creepy 5-eyed monster and the transporter beam, and I don't know. It's definitely a different one, and it has jackpot totals up on the back glass too in this game, so something they were definitely doing at Bally Williams at the time. So, Transporter the Rescue. So, April of '89 also was sort of an interesting year in that they released what's got to be one of the only and most successful, if not the only, it's not the only, but it's the most successful remake, new version of an old theme. And you probably already know what I'm talking about. That is Steve Ritchie's classic Black Knight was re-released by Steve Ritchie and Williams as Black Knight 2000. And the advertising for this game kind of says it all. It says... It took the number one pinball company in the world to lead the 80s with Black Knight, and is now returning. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm reading this totally wrong. Basically, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but basically they said it took... Williams brought us into the 80s with, multi-level Black Knight pinball action, and now this new Black Knight 2000 is going to launch you into the 90s. So they sort of bookended the 80s with Black Knight at the beginning and Black Knight 2000 at the end. It's interesting because it's kind of the same game. It plays very different. It's a very fast game. I've played Black Knight 2000 quite a bit. I believe one of the very first episodes of Coast2Coast Pinball, I used the music from Black Knight 2000. All the features are there. The magnet saves, the magnets that save the ball over the outlanes on the sides, that's back. The double level playfield is back. It has this lightning wheel in the middle with 16 bonus awards, which is pretty cool. I love the way this artwork looks on the package. Black Knight 2000 is one of those games that you could just put in your place of residence as sort of like an art piece on some level. There's two slight changes to there's two slight versions of the artwork. There's sort of like a real modern looking one, and there's one that has some more of a castle-y looking features to it. I think I've only ever played the modern looking one, but it's a fun game, very fun game. The criticism here, and Black Knight 2000 actually ranks 53rd on the Pinside Top 100, so top 100 game, 53rd. They made over 5,000 of these, 5,700 of these guys made. The critique on this game is it's a right flipper only game. Is that you're basically trying to hit the ball from the right flipper up into the upper playfield and use the upper playfield's right flipper to hit the shots. And it's sort of, you do that over and over and over again. You don't do much with the left. Although it does have that U-turn loop in there that's just a really cool shot. Sort of a dangerous shot. You got to be ready for it. But Black Knight 2000 is definitely cool. The color scheme's neat. The features are neat. It's fast. It's got great music. I think this is a great late 80s Williams game that you can pick up for a decent price. It does tend to hold its value because it is Steve Ritchie, and I think that Steve Ritchie games just seem to have that going for them. So definitely check out a Black Knight 2000. So we will continue next episode through the little tour of 1989, and there's some good ones and there's some bad ones, but we will definitely keep that going. It's funny, as I'm recording the end of this show right now, I've had not one, not two, not three, but 4 emails while I'm recording of people pointing me to the thread on the Wizard of Oz 75th anniversary. So, man, oh man, people are upset. And I would really love to talk to Jack about this, so I'm going to try and make that happen. He and I have spoken recently about him coming on the show, and he said he'd love to do it, so I guess now more than ever I need to make that happen, right? Man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. This is going to be a touchy subject. Interesting times. I'm just glad there's stuff to talk about. I mean, from my point of view, I love a little controversy, something to talk about. Be interesting to see what this does to Hobbit pre-orders. There may be some people a little bit gun shy. Anyway, enough about that. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're enjoying what we're doing here. I really appreciate the feedback and the support. I hope to get to meet some more people next year. This next week, I'm going to be in New York, so we're going to go back to Jack Bar and talk with John while we're there. I am going to check out Modern Pinball in New York City. I may get back down to Asbury Park one evening, play some at the Silverball Museum, and then I may check out some off the beaten path things that are around New York City, and just play some pinball, enjoy it, and give you a little bit of feedback on what I'm seeing out there. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can email me anytime. I will respond as soon as I can. If you email me at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, please, at C2C Pinball. Like us on Facebook. That can help the show. I've gotten quite a few emails recently, people asking like, what can I do to help? What can I send you pictures? Can I send you audio? The best thing you can do for us here at the podcast, and by us I do mean me and Teresa to an extent, is just tell any of your friends who are into pinball about the podcast. Just say, hey, have you heard Coast to Coast Pinball? Just point them in our direction. That's the best thing you do. So like us on Facebook, because that sort of does that automatically. And we have a website that's, it is what it is. A little bit bare bones. It gives you the podcast, a little running commentary, what we're doing here. There'll be more in the future. It's coming. And that can be found at www.coast2coastpinball.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Wait a minute, fellas. I was just thinking. I really don't want to see the wizard this much. I better wait for you outside.
What's the matter? Oh, he's just as scared again.
Don't you know the wizard's going to give you some courage?
I'd be too scared to ask him for it.
Well, then we'll ask him for you.
I'd sooner wait outside.
Why? Why?
Because I'm still scared.